I have miles and miles ahead of me, tales to listen to, time to spend. Up ahead, the road is bending. Wonder what's around the bend.
Hello, I'm Charles Kuralt. We're off again to meet a few people on the back roads of America. These are people you know, not from the front pages. They've never been on the front pages. They're people you know from next door and down the block. Their stories are some of my favorites from 25 years on the road.
World's leading croquet player, Mr. G. Nigel Aspinall from London.
The jet set assembles on the Croquet lawn at Palm Beach. One player, however, did not make his debut here by jet from London. He came by lettuce truck from Stamping Ground. Meet Archie Birchfield, who raises good Kentucky tobacco and plays good Kentucky croquet. We invite you to take your ease in a lounge chair aboard an elegant old private railroad car. It transports you forward in distance while taking you backward in time.
Thumb twiddling is a meditative activity. People are thinking. They're solving problems.
We celebrate the American problem solver. The problem Horace Knowles has solved is the one that baffled thumb twiddlers for generations: how to keep their thumbs from bumping.
I've enjoyed everything, all my years in show business. I've enjoyed it all. I think if I had to do it over again, I'd do the same thing.
And we salute Merle Evans, who led the band at the Circus for 50 years. Tonight, he leads the band one more time. We've met rich people while traveling around the country, and poor people, and lots of people in between. We've noticed that while there are classes in America, there isn't much of a class system. The rich are always willing to move over and make room for one more. For example, you probably think croquet is a game for aristocrats.
Very sharp rush. And
Croquet players drink champagne and eat caviar and sit under parasols on crisp green lawns, you probably think, and summer in places like Newport and the Hamptons and Saratoga. Well, yes, that's true as far as it goes. But it doesn't go far enough. It doesn't go as far as Stamping Ground, Kentucky, for instance, population 600, and home to Archie Birchfield. Archie Birchfield farms tobacco outside of Stamping Ground. That's not what he's doing right now, however. What he's doing right now is smoothing out his playing surface.
I started playing up at the Christian church. The older fellows played up there, and one of them told me up at the service station one day, said, you can't beat us a game of croquet. And I said, well, I probably couldn't. And he said, come on down. So I went down, and they thrashed me pretty good. I didn't get to play any, and I didn't realize how hard it was. And they put me behind the posts, and they wouldn't give me a shot, and they laughed. And I come home, and I told my wife, Betty, I said, boy, those people really aggravated me. I said, I'm going to get me a mallet and go back up there and practice.
He did. He practiced. You have to understand that Archie Birchfield is a determined man. We will pause for just a second here to let you read the back of his jacket. Since that first day down at the churchyard, Archie has become state champion many times over, and with his son Mark, a national doubles champion. And do not think of his brand of Kentucky croquet as Tea Party croquet.
I would say that our game is more played for blood. I mean, we're all good friends and get along good, but once you walk over that line, I mean, it's everybody's out for themselves, and if they could beat you without you hitting the ball, they will. They'll have no mercy on you whatsoever.
Playing this hardball croquet on the hard dirt of Stamping Ground, Kentucky, Archie Birchfield fell to dreaming about the clipped green lawns of Palm Beach, Florida, where, as he had heard, gentlemen of leisure and breeding contest for the club team championship of the United States Croquet Association. But then, from Stamping Ground to Palm Beach is a very far wicket. Just the same, Archie Birchfield decided to go have a look, and it was every bit as tony and blasé as he had imagined. The wealthy and illustrious competitors parked their cars at the Palm Beach Polo Club and entertained friends in their suites at the Breakers. Archie Birchfield of Stamping Ground, Kentucky, did not stay at the Breakers.
Mr. G. Nigel Aspinall from London. Mr. Ian Gillespie. Man from Stamping Ground, Kentucky, Mr. Archie Birchfield.
At Palm Beach, Archie Birchfield found that while his opponents all had long pedigrees and large bank balances, they still put on their white pants one leg at a time. They still had to hit the ball and run the wicket. And when the game started, Archie Birchfield felt right at home.
You might notice that Archie Birchfield taps his ball each time after he's hit it. He's more accustomed to playing on sand, and he knocks the ball to get the sand off it.
He also treated the Palm Beach Polo Club to its first sight of Stamping Ground strategy.
I think the play now is to go down and rush Black over where you can hit him, take off, get Blue, throw Blue to the end, take shape. We got to hope like heck Blue don't hit us, though.
He was up against the creme de la creme of international croquet, players of the sort who never have to worry about also getting in the tobacco crop. And Archie showed him a thing or two. He and a partner took on two of the best players in the world in an exhibition match and beat their socks off. We wish we could say he also packed the National Club Team Championship trophy into that lettuce truck and headed home to Stamping Ground. However, in a pressure-packed semifinal match, Archie Birchfield lost. Never you mind, the polo ponies will be here next year. So will the champagne. So will the worldly stars of croquet. And since he already has the white clothes now, washed and folded and put away, and since he's beginning to sort of enjoy himself at Palm Beach, Archie Birchfield will be back next year too. It's like he told his wife Betty after that first game with his cronies from the gas station. Boy, those people really aggravated me. I'm going to get me a mallet and practice.
We're riding in the oldest, active, privately owned railroad car in the United States.
She's called the Black Diamond, with 4 bedrooms, each with a wide bed and brass fixtures, a dining room large enough to seat 10 with leaded glass cabinets for the fine china, a comfortable observation lounge, and a full kitchen. She's not your average railroad car. Once she was the private car of the president of the Lehigh Valley Railroad, named Black Diamond for the coal the Lehigh Valley used to haul from Philadelphia to the lake cities of New York State. Now she belongs to a loyal crew of railroad enthusiasts who didn't want to see her die. They bought her, letting their hearts overrule their heads. And since she's theirs now, they hitch her to the back of an Amtrak train from time to time and take a little trip. People like Jesse Mitchell help them turn back the clock. He used to be a Pullman steward. He brings his old skills out of retirement on trips like this one from New York to New Orleans.
Railroad is something that gets into your blood, and something you don't want to get away from once you get into it. Seated number 1.
Dave Ross is a New Jersey accountant. He spends his vacations on Black Diamond, working as a steward.
Railroads, I guess, have always been the love of my life. My mother says the first word I ever said was choo-choo, and I don't think she made it up.
And Dave Dickinson. He's the chef of a restaurant in Syracuse who loves being cramped into a tiny galley.
I'd rather cook on the private car because it's a hell of a lot more fun.
Thank you.
To help pay for this fantasy, the Black Diamond takes on passengers. For their fare, they get to ride in a style once reserved for portly men with gold watch chains and ladies who traveled with jewel cases and lapdogs.
I feel like a railroad magnate with the cigar when I ride this car.
I'm a railroad nut, and this lets me come out of my shell. I love it.
So today, hitched to the back of Amtrak's Southern Crescent, is another, older, grander mode of travel. Dick Horstman, whose special dream it was to fix up the Black Diamond.
I don't know what there is about this old queen, but there's a catalyst that brings people together both in an enjoyment sense as guests and in a functional sense, you know, as a crew, making it happen. That it's almost like magic.
And so the Black Diamond rolls on. Nothing is ever lost if there are those who will save it. There are faster ways to get around now. Faster, but not as fine. You can race the clock, or you can be lulled by its ticking. You can fly over all this, or you can see it at leisure from a private rail car, a thread pulled by a needle through the fabric of America. You can step out of a plane in New Orleans, or you can arrive. Here's a sign of how the country has changed. The ailments we complain about. The pioneers were worried about rattlesnake bites and smallpox on the trail and Indian arrows between their shoulder blades. Our concerns are jogger's knee and tennis elbow and, of course, twiddler's thumb.
Twiddler's thumb comes from thumb bumping. It makes the thumbs sore and inflamed. And thumb bumping comes when people lose a little coordination during prolonged thumb twiddling.
Horace Knowles is a bureaucrat. He twiddles his thumbs at taxpayers' expense. There came over him a yearning to perfect the art. Notice, Horace Knowles' thumbs no longer bump when he twiddles. This is a breakthrough we thought worthy of your attention. Horace Knowles says his thumbs spoke to him.
They were twiddling one day, and they came up with this notion that they wanted something a little more interesting to do than just twiddle by themselves, so they thought of the Twidd.
On October 14th, 1980, Horace Knowles was granted patent number 4,227,343 for the Twidd. What the Twidd is a dowel, a piece of sugar maple cut into a cylinder. You put your thumbs into the holes and start twiddling.
Thumb twiddling is something that society wrongly has equated with idleness. This has been a mistake. Thumb twiddling is a meditative activity.
But unregulated thumb twiddling naturally offended the orderly, bureaucratic mind of Horace Knowles. As he sat at his desk at the Commerce Department reflecting on his own 60-odd years of thumb twiddling, suddenly he imagined the world twiddling efficiently and imagined himself as a Twidd tycoon. That's when he sought out the Forster Manufacturing Company of Wilton, Maine, the world's largest maker of toothpicks, tongue depressors, clothes pens, and now Twidds. The Twidds are made in a custom turning department. That's where the dowels are cut, the wood smoothed, the holes drilled, the stain and varnish applied, and each Twidd weighed and boxed. Then they're ready for the world. There is a question whether the world is ready for them. The Forster Company has made 1,000 Twidds for Horace Knowles. When we met him, he'd sold 71.
The Twidd is whimsy. Not everybody appreciates whimsy.
But some people do if they're given a chance. That's what Horace Knowles found out the day he visited the Forster plant. That day he gathered together all the men and women who make the Twidd. To each one went a Twidd, a membership card in the American Thumb Twiddlers Association, and a free copy of Thumb Twiddlers Times. Then he inducted them all into the first main chapter of the Thumb Twiddlers Association.
Will everybody please raise their right thumb? Good. You're in. You tell people about the Twidd, and they think it's one of the most outrageous ideas they ever heard in their life. I haven't learned much except that people are looking for a smile. They like to smile. Twidd makes them smile.
These 20 new twiddlers seem happy enough, but there may be a danger ahead, the danger of technological obsolescence. Horace Knowles has designed a new Twidd, an executive model, inlaid with a digital computer that keeps track of the number of times the thumbs rotate, but it isn't in production yet. Until it is, we will have to go on counting the twiddles ourselves, counting and counting, until the thumbs are so tired they can twiddle no more. That condition is known in the trade as twidlock.
Children of all ages, Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey present Merle Evans and his Circus Concert Band.
I want to try this fanfare. We'll do this fanfare first. And bat it right out. You better bat it right and raise those runs. Here we go. Everybody. I started in show business when I was 15. 1909, but I've been in this business 68 years. Oh, I did it in Russia. I was 4 years at Olympia in London, and I went to Brazil, South America, and 50 years at Ringling Brothers Circus. So I blew a lot of notes in my day.
Merle Evans says the greatest showman of all was Eunice, who stood on his forefinger. He says Alfred Court was the best animal trainer.
He didn't have a gun or anything, he had a whip. He had tigers and lions, 2 of each in the ring. He was something.
And Merle Evans played drum rolls for the Zucchinis. Every show is different. What has always been the same is Merle Evans' love of his job, and the love all those who've ever seen him do his job feel for him. It was that love that brought him out of retirement, again, for a special Sarasota concert and performance cooked up to celebrate his 90th birthday. The pen is down and the instruments are up. With one eye on the action, Merle Evans goes to work. What the old pro is seeing here is a troupe of game amateurs, Sarasota students who have transformed themselves with nerve and spangles into the Sailor Circus. His job is what it always has been, giving them marching in music and marching out music, music for barrel-leaping dogs, tightrope music, trapeze music, clown music. The drum rolls and clashes have to be timed to the jumpings up and the tumblings around. The circus is as much heard as seen. There have been so many afternoons like this in Merle Evans' 90 years. So many afternoons to remember.
I've enjoyed everything, all my years in show business. I've enjoyed it all. I think if I had to do it over again, I'd do the same thing.
At the end of the day, there came a spontaneous tribute to Merle Evans. Everybody at once seemed to want to say thank you for those 50 years of fanfares and drum rolls and tingles down the spine. The applause started and went on and on and on.
Well, time to say goodbye until our next trip together. We've heard about a story up the road here, but we kind of hope we never get there. With luck, we'll stumble upon something more interesting along the way. I can see the road is bending. Wonder what's around the bend.
All these years I've been a-wondering, just when I think I'm near the end, I always see the road is bending, and I wonder what's around